Aliana's magnetic scanner beeped insistently as she completed her pre-flight inspection of the Meridian's edge. The sleek transport vessel sat in Bay 47 of Europa Station, its titanium hull gleaming under the harsh LED arrays. She frowned, running the scanner along the undercarriage again. There, embedded in the heat shield housing, a foreign signature pulsed with unmistakable regularity. "John, get down here," she called into her comm. "We've got a problem." Her co-pilot appeared at the cargo ramp within minutes, his lean frame silhouetted against the station's artificial daylight. John had been with her for 3 years, hauling rare earth elements between the outer colonies. He knew the edge as well as she did. "What am I looking at?" he asked, kneeling beside her. Aliana pointed to the small, hexagonal device wedged between two heat tiles. It was barely larger than her thumbnail, its surface a matte black that absorbed light. "Quantum entanglement tracker. Military grade, probably consortium issue." John's jaw tightened. The consortium, officially the United Colonial Defense Initiative, had been tightening its grip on independent haulers for months. New tariffs, surprise inspections, ships disappearing in transit. Aliana had refused their protection contracts, and now someone wanted to know where she went. "Can you disable it?" John asked. "Better idea." Aliana's lips curved into a dangerous smile. "Let's send them on a wild chase." 3 hours later, they watched through the observation port as an automated cargo drone launched from Europa Station, bound for the Martian orbital yards. The tracker was secured in its hull, wrapped in enough shielding to keep transmitting for months. By the time the consortium realized their target was a gutted mining drone circling the red planet, the Meridian's edge would be halfway to the Kuiper Belt. They departed Europa on schedule, their fusion engines burning clean as they accelerated toward the outer system. Aliana plotted a course through the asteroid belt, using the dense rock field to mask their ion signature. John monitored communications, his neural interface flickering with data streams. "We're clear," he announced after 6 hours. No pursuit vectors, no hails. Aliana allowed herself to relax. The cargo hold was filled with refined palladium, worth 3 million credits on Titan. Enough to buy a new ship, maybe retire to one of the garden habitats near Saturn. She was tired of running. Then, at 0300 ship time, the Holocall came through, the communication array activated without input, overriding their security protocols. John jerked awake from his sleep cycle, stumbling to the bridge where Aliana already sat frozen in her command chair. The holographic projector hummed to life, and a figure materialized in the center of the bridge that it wasn't human. The entity stood roughly 2 meters tall, its form composed of what appeared to be crystalline structures that shifted and reformed constantly. Where a face should have been, there was only a complex geometric pattern that pulsed with bioluminescent light. When it spoke, the words bypassed their ears entirely, manifesting directly in their minds with crystalline clarity. "Aliana Chun, John Kovacs, you have made a grave error." The air in the bridge felt suddenly cold despite the environmental controls maintaining a steady 21 degrees Celsius. Aliana's hand moved instinctively toward the weapons panel, but John caught her wrist, shaking his head slightly. Whatever this thing was, it had overridden their quantum-encrypted communications. Weapons would be useless. "The device you discovered was not placed by your consortium," the entity continued. "It was our marker. We have been tracking your vessel for 847 of your standard days." "What?" Aliana managed to force the word out, her throat tight. "Because you carry something that does not belong in this timeline." The hologram shifted, and suddenly they were looking at a three-dimensional schematic of their cargo hold. But the image showed more than just the palladium containers. There, nestled among the legitimate cargo, was a container neither of them had loaded. A quantum storage unit with temporal shielding that shouldn't exist for another century. John's face went pale. The Ganymede pickup. That extra container the client added at the last minute. "The contents of that vessel will trigger a cascade effect in 17 standard days," the entity explained. "When opened on Titan, it will release a nanoassembler swarm programmed with instructions from a collapsed timeline. Your species will be extinct within 3 months." Aliana's mind raced. The Ganymede client had been anonymous, paying triple rate in untraceable cryptocurrency. She'd been suspicious but desperate for the credits. Now that desperation might doom humanity. "You sent our tracker to Mars," The entity continued, and something in its mental voice suggested amusement. Clever, but unnecessary. We do not wish to harm you. We wish to prevent a catastrophe that your species created in attempting to weaponize temporal technology they did not understand. What do you want us to do? John asked, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. The hologram transformed again, showing a set of coordinates deep in the Kuiper belt. Bring the container here. There is a facility, abandoned by your standards, but functional for our purposes. We will neutralize the threat. Then you may continue to tighten. We will compensate you for the inconvenience. And if we refuse? Aliana had to ask. The entity's geometric face pulsed once, twice. Then we will be forced to destroy your ship from outside this dimension. You will not feel pain. Your atoms will simply cease to exist in this quantum state. We find this option distasteful. We prefer cooperation. The holocall terminated abruptly, leaving them in silence broken only by the gentle hum of the life support systems. John looked at Aliana. Do we trust them? She pulled up the navigation console, entering the coordinates the entity had provided. The computer confirmed it, a stable orbit around a dwarf planet, far from any registered facilities. It would add 8 days to their journey. We don't have a choice, she said finally. But John, after this, we're done hauling anonymous cargo. Deal. He managed a weak smile. Deal. Assuming we survive meeting whatever those things are. As the Meridian's edge changed course, Aliana couldn't help but wonder, how many other haulers had these entities contacted? How many catastrophes had they quietly prevented? And most terrifying of all, what had humanity done in that collapsed timeline that had attracted the attention of beings who existed outside normal spacetime? She didn't voice these questions. Some answers, she suspected, were better left undiscovered. The ship hummed through the void, carrying its dangerous cargo toward an uncertain rendezvous with entities beyond human comprehension. Behind them, on Mars, a tracker circled uselessly, monitoring nothing but empty space and the red dust of an ancient world.